What's going on, guys? It's Tuesday, March 13th, 2018, and I have quite a bit of news that I want to get to. I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into it. So, I'll start first with some news coming from Qualcomm, which makes their Snapdragon chipsets. We are expecting the Snapdragon 855 Fusion chip up and coming next year. It is expected to have the X50 5G enabled modem ready in tow, and this was announced back in December. So we have some information on it now. It's going to be built using a 7 nanometer process. Previously, generations of the Snapdragon processors, the flagship 845, used a 10 nanometer process, so this will be different. They are using the term fusion towards the branding, which means it's probably going to be a focus on the modem and less about the GPU upgrades and other components. So I think by the term fusion, they're basically saying there's going to be a dual modem setup where you've got this fourth generation LTE connectivity and also the 5G enabled hardware as well. So if you look at what Apple has done, and they've kind of named their A10 SoC in 2016 the same way as a fusion chip. Is this kind of what we're going to see in this case? I'm not really sure. I can't say with positivity, but the timing, being available beginning of next year does sound like that could be the situation. So bringing in 5G protocol to the mainstream market, this particular SoC would be available in quarter one, quarter two of 2019. So I would expect it in the Samsung Galaxy S10 and all the flagships that are to follow after that. But just based on like the cycles of the updates to the phones, that's kind of what we can expect. So even through um, a lot of the devices that are coming out next year, we'll be seeing it. Now, I do think if companies were smart, and I don't know if it's too late to do this, it's not as easy as just making a call and boom, it happens. But for all the devices coming out at the end of this year, I would be one that would probably want to wait. I would not upgrade a device right now unless you're updating to the S9. Uh, just with 5G connectivity up and coming in 2019, it doesn't make sense to buy a device at the end of this year knowing that you might not have the hardware enabled to have 5G connectivity for the beginning of 2019. So I would kind of hold off on that. So maybe bad timing, maybe good timing for some. We'll see what comes of it next year. Coming from some Samsung news here, we've got the Samsung Galaxy S9 is now out. The pre-orders are starting to get shipped. People are getting them in their hands. They really like them. We are also expecting an S9 and A8 Enterprise Edition. The A8 is more of a mid-range device, and Samsung's S9 is its flagship. But what they're saying with this Enterprise Edition is you are promised monthly security updates for somewhere in the range of 3 to 4 years. So now these devices are a little bit more expensive. They usually cost anywhere between 20 and 30% more than the standard models, which means the S9 would possibly get up to about $1,000. And there is no word on the S9 Plus Enterprise model, but that is something you guys can expect if you're interested this year. Some news from T-Mobile. Some pretty bright outlooks for T-Mobile from market analysts. They continue to see the company as showing a lot of growth potential. Now, I do have an upcoming video on their RCS messaging news, which I'm going to get to at some point this week, and I'll get that out to you guys. So subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you guys can get it as soon as it's uploaded. But they are expected to be the continued leader in customer ads this year. So market analysts were surveyed. I believe it was a 10-question survey. 100 different analysts participated in the survey, and they do expect T-Mobile to gain continued market share. So basically what they've been seeing is that the company has been seeing increases in cash flow. Stock prices in terms of the value has gone up year over year. I think within the last year they've seen an increase of 11% in value improvement. So they see the network enhancements, they see the network growth, they see the continued acquisition of spectrum and acquisitions and deployments of that spectrum. They see it as all gains and all growth. Meanwhile, Verizon, AT&T, while they do have business growth, it's not always from the wireless side. It's more with the acquisitions and the mergers and the calculated chances that they take with other company acquisitions. So T-Mobile is strictly all about, network performance, focused on advancing the network. Pretty much, they've been catching up, and they've been catching up at a great pace. And they do expect these analysts. They do expect T-Mobile to continue in that pattern. And some AT&T news. With the Time Warner merger that's about to happen, I guess this is pretty much just a done deal, and Unless anybody states otherwise, it looks like it's going to happen. So this is probably going to create higher subscription costs. For anybody that has AT&T, whether it's Uverse or any of the other services, you can expect a cost increase on your different plans. So bills for home internet, bills for the TV services that they have, you can expect those to increase anywhere between 5 to 12%. What's interesting in all this, market analysts are predicting that DirecTV services will decrease in cost. So you guys can tell me in the comment section below if they are your provider, or even if they're not, theoretically, would this cost increase be enough to make you leave or switch to another company? Or is it enough to even make you just cut the cord altogether? I personally have already cut the cord. I've completely gotten rid of cable TV in its standard box form. I'm using, subscription only, so streaming my TV, all the different channels that we get through apps and things like that, and casting to my TV. I've gone away out of frustration and not being satisfied and not getting value. So if this is the case for you, let me know in the comment section below. What are you gonna do, or what would you do in that certain scenario? That's it for this video, guys. I do have some more stuff I wanted to talk about, but I'll get to that tomorrow or the next day. So video up and coming. Stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ding the bell to get notifications. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.